And now we are going to go through some Q&A. Dig into a little bit of Q&A. Echo Charles. First question.
Okay, Jocko, many times you said that liking a fight or liking to fight should be a part of every man's personality. Could you expand on that? I've always been interested in martial arts, but I've always been reluctant to fight, and I would do anything not to. Does that make me less of a man? So
obviously this is a pretty fitting question for the situation.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a good question and a fitting question, talking about being a man. I don't know if I said liking to fight should be a part of every man's personality, or if I said that it is part of every man's personality. And I think I said is part of their personality. And if I said that, what I think I should have said is most, right? Most men have in their personality some level of interest of fighting, right? We wrestle, we box, we scrap as kids. Look at the UFC, right? Why is the UFC so popular right now? Because it's fighting. And we have that. I read the other day, that's a $7 billion organization. There's a lot of people watching those fights. Mm-hmm. A lot of people want to watch those fights. We have boxing, we have wrestling, we have jiu-jitsu, we have judo, we have Muay Thai, we got all kinds of martial arts schools. So while I don't think the desire to fight is inherent in all men, right? I'm sure there's men out there that are not into it at all, but I think it's definitely a pretty strong part of many men. Now, for this individual particular, do I think that being reluctant to fight makes you less of a man? No, actually, I think it's fine. You should be reluctant to fight. I think everyone should be reluctant to fight. There's a lot of bad things that can happen in a fight. A lot of bad things. You know, first of all, you can get hurt, right? That's bad. Mm-hmm. You can get seriously hurt. You can get killed. You can get punched one time, fall down, hit a curb, and die. Mm-hmm. You can think you're going to get in a fair fight with someone. They can stab you in the neck and kill you, right? These things can happen. Even if it's not that bad, you can hurt someone else. Now you're getting lawsuit. Now you're getting put in prison, right? Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of bad things. So being reluctant to fight is actually a good thing, and it's something that men should have. And actually, the more you know about fighting, the more reluctant you will be. The less I knew in my life about fighting, the more I actually knew about fighting, the more reluctant I became to fight, because I realized all the risks that are involved. Mm-hmm. Part of that was maturity, sure, but the reality is you look at someone and you go, I don't know who that person is. Mm-hmm. They might be training. I'm over here thinking I've been training jiu-jitsu for 8 months. I'm ready to kick this guy's ass. Yeah. Meanwhile, you don't know that guy is a purple belt. Guess what's going to happen to you? You're getting crushed. Yeah. Or that guy wrestled in high school. He's about to double leg you and slam you on a curb. Yeah. You're going to die. Yeah. So you should be reluctant to fight. That's a good thing. Now, that being said, I do recommend that you are prepared to fight. I definitely recommend that. And there's going to be a big dichotomy here I'm going to get to, but you should know some basics, right? You should understand threats. You should know how to contend with other people. You should know some boxing. You should know some wrestling. You should know some Muay Thai. You should know some jiu-jitsu for sure. Because here's the dichotomy. This is a big dichotomy, and think about it. It's 100% true. This individual says he would do anything not to fight. Would do anything not to fight. Let me tell you, the best thing you can do as a human so that you don't have to fight is actually learn how to fight. That is the best way to not have to fight, is if you know how to fight. If you know how to fight, people aren't going to want to fight you. You don't even have to say anything. They can tell. You can tell when you meet somebody. You can tell if that person, if you're ready to fight, people don't want to fight you. The more eager you are to fight, the less people want to fight you. If you don't know how to fight and bullies, because that's what we're talking about, bullies see that you don't want to fight, guess who they're coming after? You. Now guess what? Now you have to fight. But if you know how to fight and you have that confidence and you have that understanding and you learn simple things like avoidance and you have better situational awareness, you become a threat to the people that want to fight you. You become a threat to them just by your knowledge alone. So, no, you're not less of a man because you're reluctant to fight. You actually should be reluctant to fight, But you should learn how to fight, because the best way to avoid fighting, the more equipped and prepared to fight you are, the less you will have to fight. The less you will be put in positions where you have to fight, and the better the outcome will be if it does happen to occur.
Yeah. Yeah, interestingly, like a lot of the people that you meet in jiu-jitsu are just like this, where I'm interested in martial arts, but I'm not interested in fighting nobody.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
And then they learn, and then they get all
well, there's a
addicted to it.
strong component of nerds in jiu-jitsu, right? Strong component.
Oh, yeah.
Really strong.
Oh, yeah.
Of people. I'm saying it jokingly, but there's
just a studious type people.
Yeah, studious type people that aren't super physical. They're more cerebral than they are physical. Yeah. There's a ton of people like that. And you know what they'll do? Choke you out.
Yeah, they wind up being real good.
Yeah, they wind up being real good because they're like, oh, I understand this. This is a game that I can learn and that I can crush. Yeah. And that's good. And now I have more confidence. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, and it's interesting how that third or that additional element that they're not really used to, like how you say nerds, and we'll just say like people who are more cerebral than physical. Yeah. It's that, right?
Maybe they didn't play high school sports, right?
Yeah, totally.
Because they were studying, because they were working on a computer, right? Yeah. Cool. Right on.
Yeah.
They were playing music, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, and then now they get into this highly physical situation because jiu-jitsu, let's face it, it's physical. That's your whole body. It is physical as physical can be. Yeah. But you get in it and you're just finding success just by learning it. Yeah. It's not like football where it's like, sure, I know how to catch. I can't run fast though, and I'm not big and strong or whatever, so I'm just getting smashed. Yep. But it's kind of like the more you know, the better you are kind of thing. And sure, physical attributes help you for sure, but not as much.
Yeah, being stronger is great. Yeah. Dean was talking about this today on the mat. The stronger guy's not always going to win. The more athletic guy's not always going to win. Sometimes they do. Yeah. There's various categories that will bring you a victory. Yeah. One of the strongest categories that you can have, the strongest category is your technique.
Is knowing what to do.
Knowing what to do. So you're smart people, you're cerebral people that come in and go, oh, I can apply this knowledge the same way I apply my skills in accounting. Yeah. James Nielsen, world's toughest accountant. Right? He's an accountant. He's a badass.
Yes.
So that's just the reality.
And that's why. So now that's why people get addicted too, because it's like this element of physicality, like a physical fighting sport, by the way, combat sport. Yeah. And now they're in it and they're good at it. They're good at something physical for the first time, and they're still smart as smart can be, like they always were. So now they got that additional like payoff, that's why they get addicted.
Additional power.
Yeah.
I recognize that with kids that come to jiu-jitsu. Oftentimes, and it's not an always, oftentimes the kids that get really into jiu-jitsu are kids that are smart, but they haven't done a lot of other sports yet. And it's exactly what you're saying. It's very noticeable with kids. Yeah. The kid that played baseball his whole life and he comes in there, he actually doesn't like it at first, and maybe doesn't even want to do it because he's getting choked by someone that seems all nerdy to him. Yeah. And he knows I could throw a baseball farther than this guy. Yeah. And so it makes him mad and he doesn't want to train. Yeah. But oftentimes it's the kids that come in that really haven't done too much athletically, and they got picked on. I've had a lot of bullies come to my jiu-jitsu kids program. The reason they're there is because they got bullied. And once they start training, 6 months they're not getting bullied anymore. And a year later they're a different person. They're a different kid. Confident, assured of themselves, not backing down, not being jerks, not being bullies themselves, but just confident. Yeah. So, yeah. Train some jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah. Big time. All right.